Hello everybody and welcome back to another video for the day. We're going back into r/AmITheDevil because sometimes only one person in the room wonders if they did something horrible and you're gonna ask the internet. And so if you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions. And if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. And if you guys would like to save 10% with GamerSupps, either use code Tommy at checkout or click the link down below. It helps out the channel, it helps out me, and every time it's used, we get closer and closer to stuff like shakers and my own flavor. I, 35M, deeply regret manipulating my wife, F34, into having children. I saw this in relationship advice and knew it would get deleted quickly as the comments were brutal, but I saved it onto a document on computer. Please delete if not allowed. I, 35M, deeply regret manipulating my wife, F34, into having children. I know it sounds bad, and I know we're not supposed to talk like this, but the biggest regret I have is having children. Our lives are ruined because of me, and I don't know where else to go from here. My wife and I have been together for 12 years, married for 6. We have 2 kids, 2 females, and yeah. We had agreed to be child-free very early on, but as we were getting closer to 30, I just became obsessed with the idea of having children. We were engaged, and I told her that I would not marry her unless we had at least 1 child. We broke up for a bit, but we found our way back to each other, and she agreed to one. She agreed under certain conditions. The main one being that she didn't want to stay home with the child or for any more time than it took her to heal. She had an amazing job that she absolutely loved, worked very hard to get, and was extremely well paid. I had a job that I also loved, but was not well paid. I'm in a field where there is a huge income disparity depending on what you do. I got to do what I loved because her job more than compensated financially. We had an amazing life and an amazing relationship. We traveled a lot in our country and internationally. We are both outdoorsy and active people and would take camping, hiking, and rock climbing vacations regularly. We had tons of messing around, tons of free income, a lot of financial security, and I messed it all up. My wife ended up pregnant with twins. They effed up in the epidural, they effed up in the C-section, and she had an extremely traumatic birth experience. Now, almost 2 years down the line, she struggles with chronic pain and extreme postpartum depression. She can't work at all, not her job and not any other job. She can barely walk more than half an hour at a time without pain, and her mental state means she absolutely shouldn't be responsible for patients. She went from a high-powered position to laying in a bed crying all day. I honestly don't think there's been a day since the birth that she hasn't cried. We haven't been intimate in more than 2 years. My mom moved in with us to help raise the kids, and she's old school and doesn't believe in mental health. She's not the nicest to my wife, and they're alone all day. There is no one else we can ask, and we can't afford other help. She's in therapy, she's on medication, we've seen all of the doctors that we can see. I went from a low-stress job that I loved to a higher-paying one that I hate. I work over 12 hours a day, and even weekends sometimes, and we are still struggling. I miss my old life so much. I miss my work and my friends, and above all, I so desperately miss my wife. Our children are being raised by my mom primarily. I spend as much time as I can with them, but I barely know them. I don't know what I was looking for when I wanted kids, but it clearly wasn't this. I don't blame them for anything, but I have a hard time bonding with them. My wife spends most of her time in our room and interacts with them when I'm there during therapy. I don't think we're doing a good job with them. They're well cared for by my mom, well fed, happy, and safe, but I don't think we are as involved as parents should be. I'm struggling on seeing a way out. Therapy is helping, but the progress is so slow. I don't really know what more do I want right now. I feel so much hatred for myself. We had such a good life. It all went down the drain, and in the end, my wife is ruined physically and mentally for something she didn't even want in the first place. I'm not sure what advice I'm asking for. I'm not sure what else there is to do here, but if anyone has anything to offer, even nice words, it would be appreciated. All of our friends distance themselves, and we literally have no one but each other. So in the end, let me get this straight. You gave your wife an ultimatum of have a kid or we are not going to get back together. And now you're not liking that she went through with that decision. What did you want in the first place? Because at this point, it doesn't really seem you know what you wanted. You just wanted to have control over your wife and say, okay, we are not getting back together unless you decide to have a whole human being. I know that people can have these thoughts of, hey, it would be probably nice to have a kid one day and, you know, all that stuff in the future, but that's actually something you really need to think about because it's not just all happy roses and nice fairy tale stuff and everything when you have a kid. It's a lot of hard work whenever you have a kid. You need to focus your time and effort on that kid growing up because they are your kid. And it's not exactly something you can just oopsie doopsie, I didn't know this was going to be this hard, let me just undo that. You can't exactly do that. It's almost as if when somebody has a kid, their whole life, their trajectory of their life happens to change. And if somebody goes through something traumatic, one thing that you should have done, which very much you did not state, is be there to support them. Because the way everything was described in the movie, it seems like your mother is going to be a better parent to your own kids than you are. Am I the a-hole for wanting to be monogamous with my wife again? I, 31M, married my wife, 28F, 5 years ago. 1 year ago, we started an open relationship. We were happy, but our lewd life was getting stale. I would go out with my single friends and feel jealous of all of the freedom that they had to hook up with women. I guess I missed being a bachelor, and I began to resent my wife. I understand this is my own problem, not hers. I suggested to my wife that we should try an open relationship where we remain committed to each other, but we can have as with other people. Emotionally, I am only with my wife, and I do love only her. I felt like an open relationship was necessary for the survival of our marriage. I'm not a cheater. I asked, after a few discussions, my wife agreed to try it. The first few months were great. I hooked up with a coworker who had been flirting with me. We became regular partners until she started dating. This is no problem for me because it was only physical, so I installed some dating apps with the intention of meeting women to have sex with. This is where things go wrong. I didn't realize how hard it is to meet women. They either stop replying, don't commit to meeting up, or they turn out to be unattractive. I've only met up with one other woman, and the experience was subpar. I am tired of doing this, and I want to be monogamous again. My wife has also been seeing other men. This is fine, but I started to get a little jealous. I've seen her texts, and she has so many men talking to her. I'm wanting to take her out and calling her beautiful. Every night she gets dressed up and goes out, sometimes not even coming home until morning. She says that it's just S and that she loves me, but I think it's disrespectful. She didn't make that much effort with her appearance when it was just me. I talked to her about ending the open relationship and just being with each other, but she doesn't want to. I think that she is doing qualifies as cheating. If I knew it was going to be like this, I wouldn't have suggested an open relationship in the first place. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, because you're getting pissy that you just suck at it. So let me get this straight. You wanted to hook up and do the hokey pokey and show your bits around to the coworker and some of the people that you tried meeting on the dating sites, and just because things haven't gone well for you, you wanted to undo it. Meanwhile, your wife was doing pretty much the same thing, just having a little better luck at it. It's got the same vibes as the whole, like, throwing the controllers, like, fine, I don't want to play anymore, just because you keep on losing. And yeah, way to go calling her now cheating because you wanted to go back into being a monogamous relationship. Meanwhile, she was perfectly fine with how things were. You can't just change it so that y'all can go around and do these things with other people, and then when you wanted to go back to the way things were before, it's now cheating. It does not work like that, dude. Let me know down below if you knew where this was going before the story even started. Am I the a-hole for liquidating my daughter's college fund to keep our dream house? I, 50F, lost my husband 4 years ago. I also have a 16-year-old daughter. My late husband left me everything and told me to trust his lawyer. My husband had worked for 20 years as a doctor and did some minor investing, so I inherited over 7 figures. A year later, I decided to list our home of 12 years and received an offer too good to refuse. With the inheritance, as well as the influx of cash from selling the house, I decided to move my daughter and I to Malibu because we always dreamed of a home next to the beach with my husband, but was exceptionally tight-fisted and called homes there money pits. We found a beautiful home by the sea. I never personally handled anything regarding buying a home before, so I did not anticipate all of the extra costs beyond the sticker price. But my daughter was so excited, so I decided to go for it. My late husband's lawyer was furious at my decision, so I decided to stop taking his calls. I ended up signing with a money manager who said that we'd be passively earning 90% of what surgeons earned per year. But the money manager ended up tanking a lot of our investments. I took the dwindling money out and made my own investments, which made it worse, and long story short, because of all of that, I only have around $35,000 available for me now, not to mention our debts. With the amount available to me, I am looking at only being able to pay 1 month of the mortgage upkeep, and then I'm basically out of luck until my business gets clients. However, the place where we do have a significant amount of money is the fund my husband started for our daughter. With the money there, I could prevent our credit cards from being shut down, and not have to worry about the mortgage for many more months. So, I ended up liquidating my daughter's college fund. I told her about it today, and she was furious, and said that she cannot believe all of her dad's work is gone. She also said that she won't be supporting me for retirement. Am I the a-hole for trying to fix my mistakes and trying to keep our house? Gee, I don't know, let me think. You happen to have taken the money from your late husband, gone into moving into your quote-unquote dream house without having done much to any research at all, and when his lawyer said that's a bad idea, you just decided to ignore them and went to somebody whose job it is to move money around. And when that started to go down, you just decided to start moving money around yourself into random-ass investments. Yeah, great work on that. You totally didn't just screw both yours and your daughter's futures up. You know, it's not like if you're supposed to be buying a house, you're supposed to do a little bit more research than, oh, hey, this is in Malibu. Malibu make me happy. Let's move to Malibu. No, don't do that. Adult son, 25, suddenly cut me and my wife out of life for no reason. Yesterday, my son, 25, said that he was cutting my wife and I out of his life for what it seems to be no reason. He wrote a long letter about how we were emotionally when he was a kid and stuff like that. I'll admit, my wife and I believe more in tough love and don't think we have to say platitudes like, I love you all of the time to be family, but I think he's overreacting when he said that we were emotionally He said that we were never interested in his life, too controlling, and never cared about his feelings or interests. And then he says he was depressed for the majority of his childhood, mostly because of us, and wanted to end himself at one point. He even said my wife robbed him of his childhood because she would talk too much about her emotional problems with him. But we are a family and we are supposed to talk and be close. So I feel like all of this is a bit selfish from him. My wife and I have had tough times, and we've tried to be better parents to him than our parents were to us. We gave him food, shelter, and even paid for all of his university tuition. Okay, the first two of those are just bare minimum, even on a legal sense. And now it looks like he's turning on us and being ungrateful. Even if he did feel that badly, he could have said something to us, and we would have done something. But I don't understand how he could feel that way, because he had quite a privileged life. We were never poor, we went on family vacations, and we had money to spend once in a while. My son also said that he was gay a few months ago, and he said the way we reacted to that made him feel like we were apparently not capable of loving and don't want to accept him. Yes, my wife and I are a bit old-fashioned, and we are not big fans of that lifestyle. That's who we are. But we were never overreacted about it the way he is now. He just recently finished college and has his own job and apartment, and my wife and I think maybe he is just very overwhelmed with all of the freedom, and all of this is just a phase, and that he'll get his bearings eventually and realize the value of family. My wife and I are heartbroken. We've done nothing but acted in our son's best interest his entire life. We have given him food, a roof over his head, and you are literally listing the bare minimum stuff plus the college tuition thing you said before. Now he is an adult with his own job and freedom, and he's acting up like this and being ungrateful. How do we talk some sense into him so he'll understand everything we've done for him? I'm deeply worried that maybe this is an overreaction to some other difficulty in his life right now. Oh yeah, no, he's probably dealing with some parents that aren't accepting his lifestyle. That probably would be one of them. But he won't let me in. He hopes that we will eventually acknowledge the value of family and tough love and see our side of things. I think this is too much punishment from him without him letting us explain that the way we treated him was out of love, and it hurts us that we don't want to hear our side of things. Oh no, I know exactly why he doesn't want to hear any of what you're saying. It's because he's already been hearing it for the past 18 to 24 years, and anytime he's had a response, it's been shut down saying, "Ours is better. If you don't like it, you can leave." This is very much the vibes of you leaving that shit out. Oh yeah, and way to go saying that it's all just a phase. Oh yes, they'll come around. They'll love us eventually. Even though you've treated him like absolutely nothing and trying to flex the bare necessities of being a parent legally, taking care of them for that first 18 years with a roof and food over their head. Well, we paid for your college. Ah, yes, so that totally justifies you not accepting their lifestyle when they came to you and confided in you in their sexuality. You had a problem with that, but you paid for their college, so that totally means that you're allowed to not accept their lifestyle. Oh, but you know, we're just old-fashioned. Yeah, you know what? Old-fashioned goes in the old times. Get with the times, you two. If you raise somebody and you happen to treat them horribly and they have a problem with that once they get above the age where they're able to live on their own and they can support themselves, do not be surprised if they happen to do just that and not want to talk to you. At the end of the day, all y'all share is a chromosomal coding. I have stated at various times that you can have blood that is not family and family that is not blood. At the end of the day, it's just genetics. Am I the a-hole for calling her psychotic over KFC? It's my stepson Christopher's 11th birthday today, and every year on his birthday, he gets to decide what we are eating for dinner. This year, he wanted KFC. He is at an after-school program until 5:30 p.m. My wife already went and got the food and had skipped out of the room to start decorating the family room for this party. He invited over like 6 of his friends, so my wife spent over $100 on the food. Well, when I wasn't looking, my dog got into the food and managed to wolf at least half of it down. I was in a panic because of the chicken bones, but my wife was absolutely furious and told me to get my freaking mutt out of her house. She had to call a day in advance to get this much food, and now her son's party was ruined, as well as her being out of money because of the dog. I completely ignored her honestly and just rushed my dog to the vet to be seen. When I was there, she sent me this text. Don't even dare bring that freaking animal back to my house. I never wanted that dog here, and you forced me into an environment where I'm now terrorized daily by your unruly, untrained, redacted mutt. Your failure to train that redacted animal has left this family miserable. You try bringing that dog back here and I will proceed to file divorce papers. I will be taking back the money you now owe me from your share of our combined finances. My only response was telling her that she's being psychotic over KFC, and she had better not touch my money because I'm not paying for that. She never responded. However, my buddy is saying I'm definitely the a-hole here because my wife had been vocal since day one that she doesn't want the dog in her house and has been asking me to rehome the dog since I got her. Am I the a-hole? My dog is an emotional support animal, and she's fine, by the way. But my wife thinks my excuse of her being an emotional support animal doesn't mean dookie to her because she is convinced I didn't say I needed one until well after she said she didn't want a dog here. ETA, the wife came before the dog, been married for 4 years, and got the dog a year ago. You know, with a lovely little thing called a Google search, you can also find out the qualifications for an emotional support animal, and going through the chicken and just getting into food does not very much seem like a qualifications for one. If you would like to pause for this real quick, this is the thing. They are supposed to be well-trained, housebroken, obedient, no disturbing behavior, like breaking into food. No unreasonable disruptions. ESAs should not create unreasonable disruptions for others, such as excessive noise. And this is just one of those things that I happen to unfortunately think of every time I see those advertisements on like Facebook Reels or wherever they pop up saying, "Get approved in seconds." And as someone who actually has some degree around service animals and emotional support animals, they are very much supposed to be well trained. And the more I think about it, the more I kind of think, like, okay, you had your wife coming along before you got the dog. The wife initially said no to getting the dog, so your justification was, okay, well, I need to get this dog as an emotional support animal. And for some reason, that happened to have happened. And a reaction from your wife does not just randomly happen. There has to be some prerequisite kind of stuff that comes up beforehand for a reaction like that to come up. And whether or not it was you placed the food a certain area or anything, the dog being able to get into it nonetheless is just proving that the dog was not well trained at all. Did I, 32M, ruin my marriage by requesting a DNA test? My 32M, wife 31M, gave birth to our newborn baby 3 months ago, and I thought things were fine. However, my wife did not. 2 months in, my wife approached me saying that she was exhausted from taking care of the baby alone, and she asked me why I wasn't helping. I told her that I thought I was helping, but she pointed out that I never get up at night, I never get the baby while it's crying, never change the baby, or do anything. After some talking, I admitted that I was apprehensive about helping, and she asked why. I thought it was going to cause a fight, so I tried to change the subject. She told me that I should just tell her because if I didn't, she was going to her parents' house to help until she went back to work. I didn't want that, so I told her that I wanted a DNA test. She said she wished I would have told her this when she found out that she was pregnant. I didn't understand that, but she did agree to it. She didn't seem mad or upset. She just said that I could set it up and we'd get it done because she didn't make the baby alone, so she shouldn't have to care for it alone. She did the test, and when the results got back, I told her and showed them to her. She didn't say anything about it. She just asked if I felt safe enough to help now. I said yes. Soon after that, I noticed her behavior started to change with me and my family. Everything changed, and she started saying in different parts of the house. Part I wasn't in at the time. I finally asked her about it recently, and she said that she lost all respect for me. She said that she spent 10 years of her life with me faithfully just for me to slap her in the face with a DNA test request. I explained that I didn't think that she had been unfaithful, but I just needed to be sure. She said that she's trying to work through it, but everything I say sounds moronic to her, and that we should just leave it where it is. I thought if I showed her videos and had her listen to podcasts about DNA tests, that she'd understand, but after the last one, she said she was going to stay with her parents. I don't know what's happening or how to fix it. She wasn't even mad when I asked for it. I feel like she wasn't hearing what I'm saying. It isn't that serious, and if she could just understand my perspective, I think she'd adjust hers. She's not even against the DNA test, so I'm unsure of what her issue is. I don't know. TLDR, I think I ruined my marriage because I asked for a DNA test. She gave me the DNA test and now she said that she doesn't respect me. Ah yes, don't you just gotta love it? Hey, I don't trust you because you have a problem with me lazying around the house and not taking care of our baby. I completely trust you, but I just want to be absolutely sure. Yeah, no, I'm not. I wouldn't like you either. If you're gonna be doing all the right things and then your significant other still asks you for a DNA test, yeah, that's gonna be a bit of a slap in the face when it comes to, like, the respect and trust of your other partner. But with that, that is going to have to be it with the video. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye!